Tom from Sky, please.
What is the public health justification for ending the requirement to self-isolate if infected? And if the government does bring that forward, is it prepared to do so against the guidance of the WHO during a global pandemic? And given the suggestion that today's announcements have only been made given the political difficulty the Prime Minister finds himself in, do you as Health Secretary offer him your unqualified support, or are you, like Rishi Sunak, going to reserve judgment ahead of the Grey Report? And can you hand on heart say that you've never bent the rules?
Okay. Well, let me start on that. I mean, first you asked about the self-isolation rules, ending the self-isolation rules if you're positive. Of course, that is still a requirement. That it is something that, as I've said a moment ago, the Prime Minister has referred to today, we will review. So there's no decision on that at this point, but it is clear that despite the changes that we're announcing today, there is still a very high rate of prevalence, I think around 1 in 20, according to the latest ONS data. And it is important currently to keep those rules in place. We will, of course, review them. I don't want to presume the outcome of that review, but it is reasonable to think, just as we're living with flu, for example, we don't require people to legally self-isolate, but to remain cautious, to be sensible if they're infected. We will, I think, eventually have to find a way to live with COVID in a similar fashion. On your question about the Prime Minister, I fully support the Prime Minister. And as I said a moment ago, it's important to me and to the country that he's come to the House, he's apologised, and I think it's right that we're waiting for the outcome of the report. And when that is complete, this investigation establishes the facts, then the Prime Minister will come back and answer further questions. And I think you asked me about me and rules, whether I have observed the rules, if I heard you correctly. And you know, I can say, with full confidence, I've absolutely observed the COVID-19 rules at all times. And I would say, you know, like millions of people across the country, it hasn't been easy. You know, like millions, my mum lives alone. I couldn't go and see her. I couldn't go to a close friend's funeral. It wasn't easy, but it was the right thing to do, as millions have done up and down the country when they were asked to. And it's important also that if we look at today's announcement, that you know, because millions and millions have observed the rules, they've done the right thing, that we can take the measures that we're taking today and remove these restrictions on our freedoms, which should always be a last resort. So I'm proud of the British people and what they've allowed us to achieve in our fight against this horrid virus.